And guys, we're back. I just need to unmute my microphone so Bekri actually hears me. We have the new draft coming up. But Bekri, summarize the last game for me. What did you see something special besides the drunken boss?
It was really nice rotations out of Well Met. They really understood the way you use the global presence of Vikings and ETC and Brightwing, and it just really showed their experience as a team over Fahrenheit.
Yep, Fahrenheit. It's just Well Met was just too good for them. I mean, the rotations, the timing of Well Met. You saw that they were not even pushing anything. Yesterday we had some teams that kind of overextended. They went directly for the core because they felt like, yeah, we have 2 levels or something advantage. We have a boss rolling, so let's go for it. And they actually got repelled. And we had crazy comebacks like Team Refuse yesterday did an amazing comeback on a game. Like, we call it already GG. Tetcha was literally calling next to me like, oh, okay, that's GG. And then Team Refuse, they actually won a thing. Either way, I think the draft is up and running. Do you have the draft?
Yes, I do.
Okay, then let's go in. We are actually in the map draft, and now tell me, Cursed Hollow is still there. Do we get it or not?
I hope we don't, but...
Why? Yeah,
I have a feeling we are.
Yeah. I mean, yesterday we had, I think, what was the... we had the Tomb of the Spider Queen as the only map besides Cursed Hollow. So right now, Blackheart's Bay, Garden Terror, Tomb of Spider Queen, Dragonshire, all of them being banned out. Cursed Hollow, Haunted Mines, Sky Temple. So it could be only Sky Temple and Cursed Hollow. But then again, Madcorpse, maybe they don't say... Or they say, hey, let's go on Sky Temple... Get some RNG, some fighting over temples in there, rather than Cursed Hollow, where, well, Matt, for example, should be the better practice team. But I'm completely incorrect with everything. It is Cursed Hollow again.
Just what I wanted to see.
Oh well. Is that the ironic way of saying that?
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely laced with sarcasm.
Okay, so let's go in and predict some of this stuff. I mean, if it goes like yesterday, I already mentioned it will be Vikings and Zagara, but today the first draft was already something completely different. It was Illidan and... I totally forgot. Illidan and... Zeratul. Yep.
Yes, Zeratul was the band by Fahrenheit.
So let's see what we're gonna get here. I mean, Zagara, Vikings, I don't know what was wrong yesterday, but everybody just banned it in all the games, except for one. So let's see. Well met. I don't know, Madcorpse, again, a team that is for me completely unknown, while Well Met is a relatively established team, so we have to see. I really hold back on saying that a certain team is the favorite, simply because I said the same for Stigma and Griffiths. I don't know if you remember those two teams, but they rushed through the Qualifier 4 in Cup number 1. Completely unknown, never saw those guys before, and they made such a nice performance, and so I'm like, you know, never say never.
Yeah, definitely. I have actually seen Madcorpse before.
Okay.
Although I don't expect them to win. For me, Well Met are still the favourites in this game.
Yeah. Well, we have an Illidan Zeratul ban, which is kind of interesting because that was the same of last game. So I don't know. Do you think Well Met is like known for the Zeratul? And is Illidan like a common thing you just ban against any team?
I think both of these bans are actually fine. Not even as respect bans. Zeratul, he's got a lot of potential to disrupt the flow of your team fight. In a way that most characters can't. So I think Zeratul is a perfectly reasonable ban. Illidan as well, as we all know, is ridiculously strong. Really hard to shut down. So again, I think both of these bans are fine. I don't know specifically that Well Met Zeratul's scary, but Zeratul in general is scary. So.
Yep, and we're gonna get. This is also kind of surprising because usually we see the Savannahs being either or first pick on either side, but we get a Vala Zagara combination. That's quite interesting, and the Vikings on the other side. I mean, Well Met, they ran game number 1 here of today. In a very nice fashion with the Vikings. They styled the tributes, didn't even care too much about the tribute. All they wanted is like a level advantage out of 2 Vikings remaining in the lanes, while the others, they have to commit fully to the tributes, and since we have Cursed Hollow again, so I think we just see a similar strategy. We also get the Jaina again, and we saw how, yeah, the potential of Jaina, for example, against Sylvanas, and the nice hacks we saw by Brightwing. But this time, yeah, something different is coming out. Malfurion is now the core healer.
Yeah, this is definitely different. Jaina, very strong burst. Basically a deny from Madcorpse there in terms of compositions.
Yeah.
My Furion, very strong sustain. Vikings, very strong sustain. So Well Met are looking to take a very long fight here. One that drags out. One where they can heal everybody up again after the initial engagement and then go back in. What I'd like to see from Madcorpse here is a hard initiate, like full in dive kind of style. I think once you lose Lost Vikings and Malfurion, there's no way you can sustain fight.
Yeah. By the way, I threw you the invite for the lobby, in case you didn't see. Yep, you're in. Everything's fine.
Yeah,
So
good.
now I lost track of the draft. Where are we? Malfurion, and they got the Diablo. So I mean, now that you have a Diablo, Tyrande Uther in combination, and then Tyrande Sagara Vala as damage, that would have been nice. But no, like, what's wrong with the old school Diablo Tyrande combination? Not many run it at the moment. It's kind of surprising in these qualifiers.
I think the same thing happened with Illidan last patch, where people ran Illidan Veigar, and then people moved past it. This happens a lot in competitive scenes, I've noticed, where people move past something under the illusion that they're countering it.
Yeah.
And they sort of forget. So in practice, you tend to pick stuff that you want to practice. So, oh, let's see how Brightwing works into Illidan Veigar.
Yeah.
And then in the actual tournament, they forget that Illidan Veigar is actually the strongest thing. And they just end up, like, not picking it. So, I definitely think that's actually what's happened here. A lot of people have forgot the power, like the roam, the hard initiate that Diablo Tyrande brings.
To be honest, what I missed last game was the, how can I say it, like the nice execution, like the chaining of certain skills. I don't know, more into Apocalypse. Like the Apocalypses, to be honest, last game for Fahrenheit, it felt like they just came out randomly when it got too hot, and mostly they were dodged, just got one target. They didn't really, I don't know, had to follow up like a stun into Apocalypse to get some, I don't know, higher duration on certain things. And I mean, here on Well Met, we have certain combinations that can come out, like the slow of Jaina into a root by, say, by Malfurion, or a stun into root, etc. Like on the other side, I'm not really sure. Sure, we could see a more into Apocalypse, or hacks into Apocalypse, something like that. Even though hacks is not slowing you down not that much, you might still make it out. Well, we have a slow by Vala, but this is also not something guaranteed, because she pretty much sprays that anytime she has like multiple targets in front of her. So I'm not really sure where this one is going. We get a second support now, the Tassada and Sylvanas on the other side. So pushing wise, even though we face a Sagara, I think pushing wise, Well Met has a decent lineup. Even if the Vikings use a boat in a siege situation or fight around objective, that's quite some AoE damage there, not to mention the burst of Jaina. So Well Met, I think, again, a decent draft, pretty standard.
Yeah, I really like the draft from Well Met here. They have global presence in two forms, from the Vikings and from the ETC. They have good poke on the tribute, they have really good wave clear, they have good push, they have good sustain team fight. Not sure if I said that one. I really like the comp from Well Met here. Madcorpse, their one win condition is going to be the Diablo APOC into them all.
Yeah. Well, that is definitely something I guess I would like to see. It requires, of course, some execution and everything, but that's what I kind of lacked last game, because I thought with Fahrenheit's draft we see more of the coordinated stacking of certain CC, which we don't have. At the moment, lobby, not everybody's ready, but we're hopping in-game right now. Let's see, there we go. Mr. Overlay is there. Uh,
To just hop on the end of that point there, to some extent, I agree with you. The execution was quite sloppy, but at the same time, it was very hard for Fahrenheit to ever take any team fight at all
yeah,
because of how far down they were. They never actually had any team fight on an even talent. Even they didn't even have one on an even level.
that's true. I
So
mean, they were ever since I think the first or the second tribute where they split with the Vikings, they were like one level behind. And then based on all the buildings they got, it was a second level, and they never really recuperated from this one. It was, yeah, from there on it was always well met, just dictating the terms. And yeah, that's the biggest problem about like Heroes. The hardest thing to overcome is really like a advantage when your enemy just keeps pushing. Like the good thing is if you have like one team fight that you win, that's your comeback, because then you can just turn it around, try to equalize in experience, try to get objectives done to turn around the pressure situation. But many teams actually fail with that, or the team fight that was won was not significant enough or too early into the game. And that's the biggest problem of Heroes, to like really overcome this. I think this is one of the biggest challenges you have for teams, also not well practiced teams, to overcome this disadvantage.
yeah, I definitely agree. A lot of teams kind of miss their window. So as soon as you hit the same talent, you really need to try and make something out of it. Because if you're 2 levels down and you hit 13 and the enemy team's 15, it's as close as you gotta get to an even fight.
Yeah.
And a lot of people they just don't use that window. They think, oh, we're still 2 levels down. Let's wait it out. Let's try and get some more experience. And then the enemy team just hit 16. It's the same problem all over again. Their entire talent up. 16 especially is a very scary tier.
Yeah. Well, the biggest problem about this window you're talking about is that we just really talk about a level window pretty much, where you have a lesser disadvantage than before due to talents. But I see also sometimes people like teams trying to push for this window, trying to get their fight right at this point, but the other teams knows that there might be something coming, especially in this level constellation, and therefore they just avoid it. And especially if you have Vikings on the other side, then they might just avoid you or just stall you off, especially, which was easy in the first game with, I mean, if you have force wall, then you can really just block a passage, a choke point, and then just run away. That's what they did, and quite often even did, to block out, for example, certain camps so no one else can come in. So that means they can just avoid you for one level. The Vikings is doing his stuff, so can everywhere, and that's pretty much how it goes. Either way, what are we waiting for? 7 out of 10 already. Let's get going, guys. I want to see Heroes.
It looks like twins from the side of Madcorpse and Soccer and Servolt, something like that.
Yeah,
From,
Servolt, like I think it's Servolt, but with double O, sort of, like the names are, well.
Interesting, yeah.
Let's see if I can. I guess they have smokers or something. That's like, you can definitely tell a team that has smokers, because the breaks between games, they're always longer. Ah.
Yeah.
One is toilet. Okay. Drafting and everything was not long enough. But you are experienced with toilet breaks, right?
Oh, DreamHack, there's a big fiasco over the toilet breaks.
Yes. It was kind of hilarious that like the teams, like they waited sometimes like half an hour for that game. Then there was drafting and everything. And after everything was done, you were in the lobby and it was like, sorry, one just went to the toilet. And I mean, going to the toilet at the DreamHack is nothing easy. You have to go through the crowds, sometimes through the entire venue on the other side of the venue. So it actually takes like 10 minutes to get back from toilet. And we're just talking.
I personally had no issues with it. Like the game would finish, I'd just immediately stand up, walk like out of the barricade, walks like straight line to the toilet, go in, and then come out and be back, like pretty much immediately. But for some reason, my team and the other teams had some real issues with that.
Yep.
I'm still not quite sure why.
I guess they have nervous splatters or something like that. So the closer it gets to the game, the more of a pressing need you have. I don't know. I mean, you probably know that. I mean, how old are you, Bakery, right now?
I'm 18.
18, so which means you're out of school or still in school?
I've just left school.
just left school, so you know how it is to have exams and everything like that. So I know in my past, like, I don't know, 15 years ago or so, when I had like big exams and stuff like that, or even in my studies, that is not even that long ago, like, I don't know, you know, having those needs before like big important things, it's, some people are like that.
Indeed.
But let's see. It's apparently it's not even small business, it's big business on the toilet. So that's something we're waiting for here. But that gives me always the time to read the chat a bit. But apparently, well, someone is actually saying in chat, I love this map. So someone really likes Cursed Hollow. That's cool. And which one of them is Bakery? I mean, guys, Bakery is the British guy. I'm not British, I guess you can hear that.
Wait, you're not?
Huh?
You're
I'm not.
British? Oh.
I'm German.
I thought you were British the entire time.
Oh, okay. That's awkward.
I didn't actually, just...
Oh.
Okay,
Never
we
mind
are
that.
ready
No,
in the game.
I'm just like Calder, German. That's pretty much it. Like, but I guess I live abroad for longer or around more natives. Either way, guys, we're loading in. This is qualifier number 4 here in the Enter the Storm Cup number 2. 4 teams are already qualified. We have 2 weekends, or this is the second weekend, so almost 2 weekends are passed and gone, and we have 1 more team that qualifies today. And then we have 8 more qualifiers to come. That is 4 weekends, I think. Yes. And then in the end, we have 16 teams coming into Cup number 2, where it's about $5,000. Obviously, the entire thing is sponsored by Rocket and Alienware. The casters today is me more or less helping out, because all the other casters like Shamtu and Jester and Haas, etc., they're busy on either other projects, or they're traveling, or they take a day off from casting with their loved ones, whatever. Either way, Well Met goes against Madcorpse here in the round number 3 of this qualifier. Exclamation mark bracket for checking out everything. I'm gonna introduce the left side again. Hazu OBS again on that Viking, taking at the moment top and mid, and the rest of the team, we have Soccer here on that ETC, just like last game, Shadowmara on the Savannah, Sovold on the Jaina, and Sportbilly on the Malfurion, and they might actually meet someone already. There was an Ice Shard just scouting everything, but look, with the Savannah's pushing power, they go for this tower. This is gonna end up at least at 50% HP, but there is a Cigar and repelling them. Well, not everything actually hits there, but I think now it gives us some time to introduce the other side.
A very interesting start to that game, but we see STK on the Brightwing, we see JPL on the Valor, Jellic on Zagara. In the mid lane we see Twins on Diablo. In the top lane we see Lolini on Tassadar.
Lolini, that's also an amazing name. Anyway, they have Cigara. What kind of skin is this on Cigara? It looks kind of fancy.
I don't actually know.
It
does look fancy though.
Yeah, I don't know. This is not a master skin, or is this? No, I think this is the second master skin of her in a very bright color. Either way, back to the game and not about the skins here. This tri-line or even quad line in the bottom lane, it kind of dissolved for a second now. Apparently they're going back. So who is it rotating? It's the ETC at the moment rotating, but where does he go? Does he go against the Tassadar top, where the Vikings is struggling at the moment a bit? But this pressure bottom, however, they always try to go for that building, so Wellmet is really going for like an early push strategy. However, look at the experience. At the moment the soaking goes a tiny bit better for Madcorpse.
Yeah, Tassadar is doing a great job up in the top lane actually. He was zoning the Vikings out. And when he got ganked, he actually eat the house life from ETC. So very well played so far from Lolini.
Yep, I mean, that's I guess the reason why Soccer rotated in now. He's now applying some pressure on Lolini here, but of course the shield and early level ETC is not doing enough damage. You need actually quite some talents to be, I don't know, quite a punch with the ETC. And now the pressure on the bottom lane also turns the other side. I mean, at the beginning we had, especially with the Savannah's power, them going for the buildings all the way. But now we have actually Madcorpse going really aggressive against it. Zagara paying off at the moment. It's really looking good what they do at the moment here, but in experience now they sort of equalize. It's a 4-4 situation, and this time for once we have a tribute spawning in bottom. I think I haven't seen that for the last 10 Curse Hollow. It always has been top. Now it's bottom. But let's see. I mean, at the moment, nobody really wants to go for the tribute. They just kill some of the Cigar creep, but they lose quite a lot of HP, especially with the Cigar spam. And the good thing is they can still use a lot of the wells. Oh yeah, ETC coming in there, and it's the Brightwing. Not too impressed. He loses a lot of HP there, but the Jaina, look at the Jaina. Yes, they lose the Jaina on the way. Ouch. And I mean, the ETC there, he tried to get that tribute, like a sneaky tribute, but in the end, Sagara was there to interrupt, and I think well met, they gave it up. So in the end, we have a level 6 now on Madcorpse being, I don't know, a quarter level ahead, and they get the first tribute. So far, Madcorpse doing quite a decent job, I have to say.
Yeah, so far I'm actually really impressed. They played hyper aggressively in the bot lane. To be honest, I don't think they actually had a winning matchup, but Gomet looked really scared of them when they just sort of man-moded in, and so they were winning that bot lane.
Yep, definitely. And now, I mean, the Vikings is keeping well met in the game, obviously, because, yeah, you have a lot of nice soaking in every lane, but then again, it's not as much as I expected, like, just by looking at the draft. However, Sylvanas and Jaina, they still apply the pressure whenever they see a building in range. So the first tower is falling here in the bottom lane, but Brightwing and the Vala, they're coming back to this lane, and there's the spray. Just go for the buildings, go for anything, and they are now, of course, backed up with those Augurs. The only problem is Black Arrow on everything, and that just stop it. But look at the mid, Diablo actually, he's not really in trouble, but he's losing a ton of HP against the triple Vikings.
Yeah, Diablo has a really horrible time against Vikings. The Vikings' one weakness is lack of wave clear, and Diablo's wave clear is even worse. So it's a really unfavourable matchup for him.
And now top is, it's not fully top, it's like in the mid on the red side, more or less, the tribute, and there's some pings coming out. I wonder if they actually try to interrupt this rotation top. It doesn't really look like it. At the moment, everybody's just trying to avoid each other and go directly for the tribute. Nice roots, just blocking them out. They have to wait for it, and don't get tricked. The roots, they hold really long. At the moment, ETC is channeling, but he's kind of out of position here. He's going for twins at the moment, but in the backline, Jaina being focused, and oh, Sagara. Yeah, Sagara being really low. There was even a poison damage over time. Sylvanas, they just get him, and Jaina is the revenge. So it's a 1-1 trade at the moment. No one is at the tribute except for Diablo, but there's the interrupt. He's just getting that curse by Sylvanas, and it's more or less a standoff at the moment. But with Vala, I'm not really sure. Vala dishing out a ton of damage at the moment. The Vikings lost their invulnerability, but oh my god, Vala, you don't want to be singled out here. At the moment, he's getting even body blocked by his own team, but they get at least one of the Vikings down, and now they keep on trying with the tribute. Oh, nice, Diablo, just pushing them away, but the interrupt was still successful. Look at this, Sylvanas, just barely getting out, using the wave here. And look at the ETC, he's losing his life, but the Jaina already respawned, coming back to the tribute. Well met, however, they give it up. So a tiny experience lead still for Madcorpse and the second tribute. They're doing fine.
The thing that you have to remember about that fight is the entire time we saw Eric in the bot lane soaking. So that was actually a 5v4 from Madcorpse. Again, where Met slightly overextended at the end of that, and they ended up losing a few people. But luckily they stayed in it thanks to the Vikings.
But now, well met, of course, they have to be careful that like the momentum is not shifting to Madcorpse. I mean, at the moment you can just hold the next tribute, everything should be fine. But they got the big cruiser camp, they got it really fast. In the meantime, ETC and Sylvanas, they're working on the top smaller camp, but that's not really the best pressure to apply. And now we have, look, Madcorpse, they feel that level 10. Oh, they single out that fat Olaf here. But no, it's not enough for a kill. He's just getting out. But it was a nice attempt for sure. There's a healing ward coming out, just making sure everything's fine on that side. Level 10 now on both teams. And let's check what they get for ultimates. Do we see, yes, another force wall, Apocalypse coming out on, yes, on Madcorpse side.
I'm very surprised by the force wall here, to be honest. So Gala doesn't provide the most damage to your team. If this was Salt and Hammer Valor, then I actually think the force wall could have some potential here.
Yep.
But I am worried about the lack of damage.
Oh, but look at this. Diablo kind of ballsy going in here, but the ETC even ballsy, yeah. And he's kind of singled out at the moment. Lifted over the shoulder. The judo toss is coming, and look, he's going down. This is really bad news, and Amor is getting 2 Vikings and someone else. I didn't even see who that was, but look at all that damage. The follow-up, he saves himself in the boat, but the problem is he returns with really, really low HP right there, and that is a curse. That is not just a 1 fight, a 3-0 trade. This is a curse. So, well, Matt, you have to be careful. I think they're losing a lot of momentum right now. We have to see what Madcorpse can yet now do in this duration of the curse. 1 minute. Let's see.
Madcorpse are really showing the benefit of having a hard engage and just being ballsy, really, just going in. Well, Met are playing a bit too aggressively for the sustained style that they have in their composition.
Yep, and I mean, at the moment, Madcorpse, they approach the entire thing by pushing pretty much in every lane. Zagara is bottom, even applying a lot of pressure here on that Sylvanas. Just that circling, just driving him out. So I think that fort is a granted one. In mid, the push kind of stopped, but top still have only the ETC defending. But look at all the creeps doing all that damage here at the moment on the fort. So maybe we actually get 2 in summary. But that's pretty much it. Then the curse will run out. We have just 15 seconds left, and maybe they get another tower, or that's it. But there is a ping on the boss at the same time. So yeah, it's a 1-1 boss trade.
So the thing they were looking for here, they wanted to push the lanes to try and get 13. Because once you get 13, this boss is pretty much free anyway. Like, you can't fight like down a talent into the enemy boss. It does mean that they are trading bosses when up 1 level though, which is kind of questionable. It's not the optimal play, but of course they did get 2 forts anyway. So
yeah, I mean, 2 forts of the first curse. I guess they can be happy with it, but maybe Madcorpse, they expected a bit more. Well, Mad is definitely not out of this game, especially since they were able to 1-1 trade this boss instead of having a situation where they have to fight over a boss, potentially lose that fight because of 11-13 standing in the experience. But look at this, they go directly to the base, they go directly into the siege camp here while the golem is knocking on the door. They have 1 defender, 1 lonely defender actually, with the Vikings doing the push. So 1 fort is going down, but now with the siege camp, look at the golem and the small siege camp doing quite some damage on that base defense here already, and this is even gonna hurt the fort if they don't stop that golem really fast.
A quite nice rotation came out by Madcorpse there. They take the wall, and what a lot of people don't realise is that taking that wall is actually the same XP as a keep gives. So it's actually pretty huge to get that pickup.
What, taking the wall is the same experience?
The inner walls the same experience as a keep, yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't even know that they have the same experience value. That's interesting. See, I learned something. That's why I love pro players on the cast. So the noob casters finally learned something. But what I learned is now that the right side of the map is gonna be painted red, as they claim that Bruiser camp for the 2nd time. So at the moment, this is pretty much the only camp at the moment live, up and running, and with that maybe they go for a mid push. This is at least what it looks like. Just give it another 10 seconds and they're level 16, so a 14-16 situation for Madcorpse. That's definitely a nice ground to fight around the mid here.
Well, Met really do, well, they really needed to do something here, because as we can see, it's now 16 coming out from Madcorpse, and that's just gonna, it's definitely gonna give them this fort for free, if they want to take it.
Yep. What is the Vikings doing at the moment? Oh, that tribute spawn really close to that fight, so they can actually stall out time as well as pushing for that tribute. That's really nice for Madcorpse here. It's a perfect spawn, and does Matt actually give this completely away? Doesn't look like they're going for it.
There's no way they can fight this.
Yeah.
Down to talent.
16-14. It's just not the best tribute time.
So here's Madcorpse looking to force something here. We can actually see both side lanes being soaked by well met, so they really do need to force something.
And to be honest, they do quite a nice job, as in catching up. I mean, they were behind 2 levels straight, even a tiny bit more. Now we are looking at a bit less than 2 levels, so the split pushing works out, but the problem is they lose a lot in the process. Diablo in the front lines, look at all this pushing. I mean, oh, what a lift! The Jaina has to help herself there in a nice ice block. There's the Apocalypse, not really hitting anyone. Wailing Arrow being used as well, so in the end, Everybody just got a higher blood pressure, but it's just about the buildings. Nothing is really happening, and there's the next tribute spawning. ETC is close to that one already, but it's again another spawner. It's kind of in favor for Madcorpse right now.
Yeah, this should be another tribute for Madcorpse. It is the same talent level now, actually, so...
Yep, they just drive the ETC away. Look at the Savannahs just coming close, but no one is actually interrupting. It's the Vikings. The Vikings versus Brightwing here.
Yeah, there really isn't much that Brightwing can do here. She's just gonna end up getting forced down.
And look, the entire
team. Does she know that the rest of Well Met is here, though?
Yeah, look at the entire team rotating in. There's the Iceberg coming out by the Brightwing. He has Blink Heal, if I'm not mistaken. No, they get the Brightwing down, and that's the first time at disadvantage for Madcorpse, but they still go for the fight. Tranquility just popping out, but Maw is just interrupting Diablo. He's just going for it, and look at this nice punch there at the Savannahs. Really low, and Zagara is able to finish both of the assassins off. And Jesus Christ, that Zagara, that was suicide bomber style. Just before he dies, he takes Jaina and the Savannahs. In the end, make it a 2-for-2 trade. And the Augurs, they died so fast that it was barely worth to mention.
And the Valor managed to get out with a really nice sneaky vehicle in the bush. That's actually a really well played fight for Madcorpse again. The Maul missed. Well, not missed, it only got one. The Apex wasn't up. So, but they still managed to get a 2-for-2 trade, despite losing Brightwing like at the start.
Yep, and I actually thought this is going to be a tribute that is going to Well Met, but to be honest,
this is the curse tribute, so it does need to be cool.
Yeah, but look at this, the Vikings can't really stop them. ETC now also in trouble. If they get a lift by Diablo, that's really bad news, but at the moment they're just rooted for a tiny bit.
So low.
Oh yeah. And look, there we have it. Tassadar just securing the second curse of the game. Well met so far, not a single tribute, but now he might go for a fight. But Zagara is not here. The damage of Zagara is missing. There's a force wall, and there's of course also Mr. Brightwing coming in and just pushing them all away. They, however, still go for the boss with Madcorpse sticking around. This is an awkward situation right now. If Madcorpse win this fight, then they get a free boss, can rotate to their boss, and this is pressure I don't think Well Met is ready for. So they take over this boss at the moment, and oh, Well Met
taking heavy damage on Well Met's side.
This is bad news. But oh, look at it, stage dive. Coming in, securing the spot here. Wailing Arrow just on 2 targets here. The boss is going down, but who is on the field? Look at the boat. The boat is actually going down, and the Maw is on so many people. It's 4 people. The Vikings going down. There's the follow-up damage by Vala. It's so much. They're still all standing, but it's 2, 1, 3. Oh my god, I can't even count. 3 of Madcorpse are going down. Savannah's, I have no idea how she survived, but she did. Also, Jaina really low, but now she gets the revenge, killing the last one off that was here. Of course, there's a fast respawn on the Diablo, but that was a disastrous fight for Madcorpse. This is exactly what Well Met needed.
You say that, but it actually wasn't. They actually ended up getting 2 keeps off of their curse there.
But still, I mean, that is now a boss, and they're almost all alive. So we have to actually see what happens with this boss. The respawn timers are pretty high at 15 minutes. I mean, you say it was a good trade, but still, this fight.
It wasn't good. It wasn't disastrous though.
Okay.
I'd still err on the side of bad, but not disastrous.
So let's see what's happening, because the thing I fear at the moment is, besides losing your level advantage and getting level 20 earlier on Well Met, plus the boss top, and this is the momentum now shifting to Well Met. By the time this boss is done with the key, and Tassadar really needs to shield that building. Yeah, there we go. So they get this one, but they lose the top one, and that gives again more momentum to Well Met, which means they can probably paint the entire map blue.
Losing that top wasn't too big a deal. There's still a tower left from the fort that was there. There's still a full wall full of ammo, so it's not too bad. They should be able to defend it without losing too much. Not losing the keep, I mean.
Yeah, I mean they're gonna lose mid. That's
yeah,
very likely.
They are gonna get 20 here. So again, the game's completely even at this point, but there's a huge structural advantage for Madcorpse.
Yeah, especially, I mean, the base of Well Met is not really intact. Quite the opposite, there's just one keep standing. But now, of course, they're working on the other side of the map with equalized experience. And we have to see what this fight actually does. Soccer being super aggressive, but on the other tank, Diablo at the moment not really impressed. But now the Vikings are coming in. They try to do some damage. Everything's going off. There's even a Storm Shield. Everything's coming. That keep is definitely falling. But the Golem is also really low HP. But I don't think well met they're gonna march on here. No, they go back systematically. They're happy with that one keep and their comeback into the game. But Madcorpse, of course, they have to respond now. If they give more leeway to well met, then that's bad. So what is the next step right now for Madcorpse to do?
I say they take this fight to tribute. They're the same talents, they have their waves pushing, they have mercenaries in the bot lane. I think fighting here is very beneficial for them.
Yeah.
Although it appears they're chasing the ETC, are they going to push with... No, they're just going to deny the hard camp here.
Yeah, the Bruiser camp going in favor here of Madcorpse. I don't think there's anyone challenging. In return, they get top and a free tribute by the Vikings. Okay, that's also very interesting. Just a tiny little Viking just sneaking the tribute. But look at what they have their eyes on. The last keep here in bottom. The tower's already going down. No defense line whatsoever. And they're going in. Is that some sort of slow siege with by the help of the Augurs? Against the Sivana's not too effective, but they start the damage here. But there's a stage dive. It doesn't really hit anyone except for the Brightwing, and everybody's now getting pushed back. They focus the boat, so Viking barely doing any damage with that ultimate. There's a nice wailing arrow on 3 people, silencing them up, but nothing is really going down at the moment. Look at the Sagara actually forward blinking more, just only on the Jaina. Not the best more you were looking for. There's the Apocalypse hitting on pretty much no one but Soccer. Soccer losing really a lot of HP, so one Viking is going down. Sagara is falling. This is bad news. All that damage is now missing, so they lost another Viking, but they have to retreat. It's a 2-for-0 trade at the moment. Okay, a 2 for 0.5 something.
There is a hard camp on core. It's not gonna do too much though. Hard camps aren't that great pushing into cores.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, Wellmet expended all of their ults engaging that fight, but they just didn't like the ults, although they were saved. When they were used from Madcorpse, they just weren't really effective.
Yep.
The ball hit one person, the APOC didn't hit anybody. The Emerald Wind didn't seem to do much, so...
I mean, they're gonna lose the small giants here in the bottom. Top, they're gonna be killed by the time I say it. And the tribute, the second tribute, is gonna get taken now by the Vikings. So potentially the next tribute fight might be around a curse. We still have a 21-21, now a 22-21 situation here. They're gonna get that tier 1 fort in the mid, but well, it could still go both ways. Pretty much the next fight, if the next fight ends up in a crazy trade, like where at least 3 or 4 heroes die, we actually look at a core push at some point. We have 3 seconds on the boss bottom.
Is just coming up.
Yeah.
Where am I here? So this should be the game-ending fight.
Yep. If that boss ends in one's favor, then we have this one. But even right now, it's a 5-on-5 fight. So if well met, if they go for the boss and take some punches there, they might go in an awkward fight where I'm not really sure what's happening. But look at them, just standing off, going with the camera max out. But the Vikings are actually scouting, and the Brightwing not coming in. So I think they kind of accept the boss fight, or do they? No, they're not going in. They accept the boss, but now they go for it. I think the timing is kind of off. There's almost a triple wailing arrow. There's a force wall. Just I don't know. And also look at this tribute. The curse tribute spawning directly in front of their noses.
Okay, so right now, the boss plus 5 of well met ends the game on their own. So this means that Madcorpse, they have to kill the core right now. They literally have to go for the enemy core.
Oh my god, and they actually do it. So screw... No, the tribute, no, Vikings actually takes it. No, this is really a rush for the core, so we have to see well met. They have to repel this, but at the moment, what is actually happening? Storm shields are coming out. So much damage here. Tranquility on everything. We already have the first ice block here by STK coming out. Diablo trying to isolate Soccer, but Soccer is just sliding over them back. Look at this mob. Beautiful on like 3 people. Soccer is still there. Jaina's there. Apocalypse. Oh, there's the combination we were looking for. So much damage. It's a 1-for-2 trade at the moment, but Tassadar low, making it number 4. At number 5, there's the Diablo, and I think this is our game.
A really nice game come out there, but it is over as we do see the bosses on core already. Fantastic early game from Madcorpse actually, but their execution team fights just couldn't quite get there. The Apocs didn't quite land on the Moors.
Yeah, it's kind of sad to see because Madcorpse, man, they had some early and mid game. It really looked solid what they did. Also, the apocalypses and everything, it was better on target. But then in the end of the fights, I mean, if you look at that fight bottom where they wanted to go for the last keep, the apocalypse I mean, the Maw was kind of off target. I mean, he blinked forward, wanted to go for a triple Maw. He only ended up having the Jaina, and in the meantime, they lost someone. I think the Pride Wing first. The Apocalypse follow-up was completely off target. The last Apocalypse was good, but everything from mid-game till the very last Apocalypse was kind of, I don't know, the timing, placing, everything. It was just not the right thing. So it's really sad to see Madcorpse starting off very good in this fight, or in the entire game, but then giving it away by more standardized team play, I guess, by, well, Matt.
Yeah, it was just a weakness execution.
Well, and that being said, guys, we have to look at the bracket. But where is the bracket? Let's see if we have results, Bakery. So, well, Matt goes forward 1. We actually have ESC, the German team. They won against their enemy, so they are on round number 3. But the round 3 is still to be played. We might actually jump into this game when we have the round 3 results there, and then we have in round 4 in the semi-finals, well, Matt versus whoever wins ESC versus either IMG HOTS or OWD. Both teams never heard of, but of course ESC we heard of. So let me ask in the group if we can cast that ESC game. If not, then we take a longer break, but I try to avoid breaks as usual. So be right back, guys, 5 minutes.